Hello friends, Happy New Year! This is Sharon from Mad Paper Crush. I'm glad to see you back here in a brand new year. And today we're going to be making these altered calendar paper clips so that you can have the month at a glance in your journal whenever you need it. I know that I'm always wondering, what day is the 14th or what day is the 24th? And so having a little calendar right at my fingertips is always helpful. Now, because these, they're only going to last 30 days, 31 days, I thought I would make them in such a way that you could remove the paper clip and that you could put them in another month to use over again. So when January is over and I may not need to look at this anymore on a regular basis, I may just glue this down in my journal, but I will always have another month ready to go that I can put a paper clip into to use inside my journal and move from day to day. As I'm journaling, I can take it off and put it on another month so that I have that month ready to go as well. I've created a little freebie for you. If you would like to make these just as I've made them here, you can head to my blog at madpapercrush.com/2020clips to grab your digital and make along with me. And I will link this down below as well. So let's go ahead and get started and make some altered paperclip calendars. In this project, we're going to be using a paper cutter. You could use scissors if you don't have a paper cutter, but I'm going to be using a paper cutter. We're going to be using some glues. I'm probably going to be using a stick glue and then maybe some art glitter glue because this is just a little bit easier for one part of the section. I will most likely be using some distress ink to distress the edges of my paper clips. And then also a bone folder just to smooth things down. You could use a credit card or just something that has a long flat edge for you to burnish the glued edges down. And then something to score our fold marks. So I'm just going to be using this little embossing tool and a pad of book pages from an old book that I have. You could use a scoring board if you have that, if you want. I'm just going to be using that. And then you'll also need a paper clip. That will be the finishing touch that will allow our paper clips to be held onto our journal pages. And then also the digitals that I've provided for creating your 12 calendar altered paper clips. And those are out on my blog. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut each of these out. Just so you know, the size of these are 3 inches wide by 4 inches tall. So that's so we have a front and a back that we can use for our paper clips. So I'm just going to cut them out using those dimensions. I'm going to cut off my edges first, and then I'm just going to cut them all out so that I have 12 pieces of 3 by 4 to work with. Okay, I have my first 6 months cut out here. Since this is just something you'll repeat, we're going to do one together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my January. And the first thing I want to do is I want to fold it. I'm going to get my paper, my bone folder out, and I'm going to get this out. And then I'm just using a little bit of a little credit card here to make my line on my paper. So I'm just lining up my digital piece here with the edge of my paper so I know I have a straight edge so that I can kind of see where I'm going. If you're using a scoreboard, this would probably be easier. You'd know you'd have everything straight. So I'm just going to eyeball it, hopefully get it as straight as I can. And I'm just going to make a light score here, just in case I need to change it a little bit. And you can see the digital does have kind of a bottom line there, so you can kind of tell where you're supposed to fold it at. So you don't even need to make a score line if you don't want to. I'm just doing it so that, you know, I'm trying to be exact as possible, but as you can see, I wasn't. And there are some edges there, which I could either trim off or distress. So either one, you know, is okay. So I might just take my scissors here and trim a little bit of that off so that you can't quite see it so much. And then we can continue on. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this together. And for this one, I am going to use my glue stick because I want to cover as much of the entire thing as I can. So I'm just going to cover one whole side, trying to get the edges as best I can. And then we'll fold this over. And this is where I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure everything is flattened out as best we can there. Okay, that's pretty good. And now what we're going to do, just fold this over so I don't get glue on the other side, is we're gonna make our other two scores. Now for this one, I wanna do about a 1/2 inch score. So if you're not using a scoreboard, you might need to make little marks with a pencil or something so you know where to make the scores at. So I'm just going to use my mat here, and I'm going to line up the edge, and I'm going to just make a little mark at a 1/2 inch in, and then the other score is going to be right at the edge of the digital here. So I'm going to make those two score lines. And one here, right at the edge. Whoops. Try not to pull the paper back like I just did. And this one didn't seem like it was quite going there. Okay, so now I have my two scores on here as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold them. And we're going to fold them towards the back. So first I'm going to fold the first 1/2 inch towards the back. And then I'm going to fold the second one in as well, so that I have my month ready to go right here. You can see that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down. But what we're going to do to create a pocket is to leave the first fold with no glue and just glue down the second fold. So I'm going to leave this one down, and this is where I'm going to take my glitter glue just because it's a little bit more precise, which I want it to be. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the edge of this second fold. And then we're going to fold it over. And we're going to give that a second to dry. And while that's drying, what I'll do is cover my glue back up so it doesn't dry out. But then also, I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and do my distressing. So I'm going to grab a little sheet here so I don't get my board all covered up. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of extra distressing on the edges of this. And you could certainly do any additional embellishment if you want, you know, to the back or even more to the front if you wanted to. To me, this is only going to last 30 days. So I wanted to have something that I could reference and move around in my journal, but also not have to worry when the month was over that I was, you know, either pitching it, or I'll probably glue it into my journal in the January pages that I used. So that, because, you know, I'm not gonna, we never pitch anything. So, all right, so I think my glue is done here. And now I'm going to take my paper clip, and this is a large paper clip. You could certainly use a smaller one too. And I'm going to take the small end of this large paper clip and just put it right down into that little pocket that we created. So then when I do that, now I can take my paper clip, whoops, and I can open up my journal to whatever page I'm working on. And I can slide that right down so that I have a month reference right here anytime I need it. So now after you have them all done, you can put paper clips in them all so they're ready to go into your journal. So you can see here I used a smaller paper clip just to kind of show you that if you, if all you have is a small paper clip, you can use that in here as well. And of course I can't see, oh there we go, to get it back in the pocket there. But you could use a small paper clip if you wanted to. You can use the large paper clip like I did on January, and you can just leave these ready to go for when you need them. So like when I'm working in my journal, I definitely like to have the month that I'm working on readily available to me. So, this one I'll probably move from day to day kind of as my bookmark. And then February, just because that, will be coming up soon and I'm sure I'll want to see something, I may leave that one in here as well. But then what I can do with the rest, I don't even have to put any paper clips on them until I feel like I need them or I want to look at them. But then I'll always have a reference ready for me. I'm just going to put these in a little tuck spot here in a little pocket in my journal, and then they're ready to go. You don't even have to, they're, a little bit thick here. You don't have to keep them in there, or you could use a bigger pocket if you had one. This one I don't, but I always love a thick journal anyway. So I think this is a great start to get those going. And there you have it, friends. I hope that you enjoyed this video to make your own altered calendar paper clips. If you would like to use the digitals that I've created, you can head over to my blog, madpapercrush.com/2020clips. I will link it down below as well, and you can make your own there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, click on that subscribe button. I'll have lots more tutorials and things going on this year. I have lots planned for you guys, and I hope to see you in the comments. Take care and Happy New Year, friends. Bye-bye.